Welcome, everyone, to Redox Nurse Talk tonight, and we are glad that you took time out of your night to join us just to see what this technology is about. What this is called redox signaling molecules, and it's native to your body, so there's no side effects. And we want to state our disclaimer, redox signaling molecules do not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. It just gives the body back what it's lost over time in order to create that cellular communication in your body so your body can heal itself. So my name is Cindy Reed, and I'm a nurse here in the Nashville area. And my co-host tonight is Doria Stewart, who's also a nurse, but she lives in the Atlanta area. And we partnered together for this venue to do this about almost 2 years ago now. So we've enjoyed meeting people as we go to conferences or just on a daily basis. And we get them to come in and give their testimony because everyone usually has a different testimony, and it's always good just to learn from different people. So tonight we have not only one guest, but two guests, and it's a mother-son team, and you'll get to hear their results as well as how they're building their business together. We're going to allow you to put questions in the chat. So after the interview, Dory will do the interview, and after that, you can put questions in, and if they have time, they will answer them for you. But first, we're going to start off showing a very short video in case you're new and you're not familiar with this technology. This is a biotech, but it's in the area of redox chemistry. So it's almost 15 years old as far as the company goes, but the technology's been around for a little while. So let me start by sharing our video.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble. I've been involved in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to introduce you to a cutting-edge health technology that we call ASEA Redox. ASEA Redox represents a new category in health and wellness that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. It could not be done. And yet today, health and medical experts around the world are calling ASEA Redox one of the single greatest health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. Now, a great place to get started is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It's not a vitamin, a mineral, an antioxidant supplement. It's not an exotic juice, essential oil, or a CBD oil. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. I'm just saying they're not ASEA Redox. This technology goes beyond nutrition. It goes beyond ingredients, and yet it has the power to impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. Now, to understand this technology, you've got to realize that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells are signaling and communicating critical messages for health, healing, and repair. If there's any breakdown in that signaling, you cannot achieve your full health potential. You see, this signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. You could say that if your cells can't signal, then little else matters. Now, you've probably heard it said that we live and die at the cellular level. If you want a healthy heart, have healthy heart cells. If you want healthy lungs, have healthy lung cells. Well, as science looks deeper inside your 75 trillion cells, they've discovered a very special set of molecules called redox signaling molecules. These are the molecules that you make that are absolutely foundational for healthy cell signaling throughout your body. However, here's the challenge. With age, diet, stress, toxins, we begin to make less of these redox signaling molecules. And it's about 10% decline every decade. So by age 50, you've about half the signaling that you had when you were younger. And as a result, things just don't work like they used to. You begin to see, you begin to feel the effects of aging. A simple example. Imagine your home's on fire and you call the fire department, and they're there with the big red truck, the firefighters, the fire hose. They've got everything they need to put out this fire, but what if you have a bad cell signal? They don't get the message. They don't know what the problem is, where the problem is, how serious the problem is, and your home goes up in smoke. Well, it's the same with your health. So let me ask you a very powerful question. What if? What if you could amplify and clarify this critical cell work like it's supposed to? That would be a game changer. So introducing ASEA Redox, the world's first and only cell signaling supplement powered by high energy redox signaling molecules. And since this technology is backed by 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets, there's no other supplement like it in the world. Now, not only is ASEA Redox a cell signaling technology, but it also signals at the profound depths of the genetic level. In an 8-week study, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase 5 important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, positively impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular health, digestive health, and even hormone balance. It's also been shown that ASEA Redox significantly impacts the NRF2 pathway, which is the master switch that signals the production of the most powerful antioxidants known to man, including the master antioxidant glutathione. Now, 2 separate university studies showed that ASEA Redox increases NRF2 activation by up to 60%, resulting in an increase of glutathione production by up to 55%. So although ASEA Redox is not your traditional antioxidant supplement, its impact on antioxidant health is nothing short of astonishing. Now, this is just one key on the ASEA piano. ASEA Redox is much more than an NRF2 activator or an antioxidant supplement. Remember, signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. So at this point, let's hear what health and medical professionals are saying about the ASEA Redox breakthrough.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient.
They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. And you can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough.
This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries. But now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
So hopefully you're beginning to see why this technology is being hailed as one of the most significant health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. It's empowering people to feel better than ever before. For many, it is the missing link to better health and vitality. And it's not just health. Athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a university study, mice drinking ASEA Redox for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts in their bodies as they started to burn more fat as fuel. And so amateur athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are enjoying the ASEA athletic advantage. Now, after another 5 years of research and development, the scientists behind ASEA Redox were able to develop Renew 28, a topical gel that is infused with these powerful high-energy redox signaling molecules. So you've probably heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, when Renew 28 is applied to the skin, it results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging. It also improves skin cell renewal rates and increases skin cell blood flow. We also discovered that when you apply Renew 28 to anywhere that hurts, ideally 3 applications in 5 minutes, over 90% of people notice a significant reduction in their discomfort. Now, I do want to point out that we have continued to expand our range of redox signaling products to include an intensive redox serum for those little trouble spots, and then more recently the redox clay mask, combining our redox signaling gel with an ultra-pure bentonite clay. And so headed up by the big blue bottle, this is our cell signaling product division. However, we have 4 divisions in total. We offer a very clean and effective skincare system called Renew Advanced, high-quality bioavailable nutritionals called Acea Via, and more recently, fun functional beverages called Cell Performance that address fatigue, brain fog, stress, as well as a vegan amino acid formula that helps your body build its own valuable collagen. Now, of course, the purpose of this video is to introduce you to our remarkable cell signaling technology. Now, we have other videos and websites that go a lot deeper into this health science breakthrough. But for now, I would encourage you to explore some of the other videos on this website. This is where you're going to hear how this technology has impacted people's lives. And some of these stories are absolutely astonishing. Real people sharing real redox results. So this is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
I was going to show you, for those of you who have not seen this, these are the categories on the left that he was talking about, and there are over 150 videos on there. So you can just search your category. Each category probably has at least 3 plus videos that you could watch related to that. But anyway, our speaker, that was Alan Noble, and he's an awesome leader. So back to here. Okay, Doria, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce our guest. And like I said, you can put questions in the chat for anyone that would like, and then afterwards they can answer the questions for you.
Okay, wonderful. So we're very blessed to have a mother and son dynamic business team this evening, and I'm going to love them both. They're wonderful and such full of humility and integrity. So I'm going to introduce Merritta first, and Merritta Combs is mom, mother. And so she hails from, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Merritta, you can correct me. Is it Pomona?
Pomona,
okay, Kansas, in eastern Kansas, but has a farm in western Kansas with her 2 brothers. She now lives on a small farm with a big garden and hunting opportunities for her family. She's a proud mother of 3 sons and their families. She taught middle and high school students for 47 years before retiring 3 years ago. And now she is a redox connector and a business builder, as well as working on several local and state committees. So Merritta, I'm starting with you on first. I want you to tell us more about your profession. We were just talking earlier before we started recording. Nurses and teachers are alike in a lot of different ways. So just tell us what was going on before this technology crossed your path.
well, I live in a rural area in eastern Kansas. This is where the boys grew up with their 4-H livestock and all their sports and so forth, and taught at a 3A school in eastern Kansas with 6 different classes that I taught each day. We had 7 hours in the day, so it was a lot of preparation with culinary arts, family study, nutrition, child development, careers, culinary essentials, you name it, all kinds of things. And in small schools, they ask you to do more and more on committees and work with this and that. I was also a leadership advisor for a group called Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. We usually had 35 to 50 students in that group. And so we were very active at the local, state, and national level, winning contests, and the students were very competitive. We did a lot of community service projects. So it was busy trying to work with the students and such like that. But with my teaching, it was getting up at 5:30 in the morning, going to bed at about 11 o'clock at night, long hours like what you nurses do. Anyway, Thad could probably see some of the stress that I had when he would come back twice a year with his family to enjoy our time together. So a lot of different things. I had to go to a neighboring town to get all our supplies with our hands-on classes that we had with the students learning so much from the hands-on versus just straight out of the book. That was wonderful. And you make connections with these students. Many of them I have tried to share the Redox with. And I do have a couple of students right now, one college student and two athletes in high school that are presently using the Renew 28 gel and having terrific results with it. And a couple pregnant former students that are pregnant, carrying babies, and they're using it for Charlie horses at night, muscle tightness, and also trying to calm the stomach down, as well as trying to sleep better at night. So that was kind of where I was with teaching and so forth. And yes, then after I retired, I tried not to volunteer for too many things, but I do volunteer for a couple of committees here locally and at the state level.
Okay.
I enjoy people, so I guess that's what I want to do, is continue to give back. And like you said, a Redox connector and educator now.
Yeah. So you said you dealt with lack of sleep, and did you deal with like discomfort in your body too from the long hours that you were working as a teacher? Do you have to stand a lot, or
Yes, with all the hands-on classes, I was constantly walking on the move, and some of the students couldn't believe they couldn't keep up with me. And I said I had so many things I needed to do for all the other classes and such going. So yes, I lacked stamina to keep going. And once I got on the ASEA, then it gave me back some energy, helped me to do better with mental clarity, to stay organized and keep things going that way.
yeah. So so I understand that Thad is one of you have three sons, and Thad, where does he fall in the category of all of your three sons? Is he the youngest, oldest, or the middle?
He's the oldest.
Okay. All right. So what did he say to you to pique your interest about this technology?
I can't remember all the words. I remember it was probably a week before he came back at Christmas time. And oh my God, he was so excited. He didn't slow down one bit. He just kept talk. And I'm going, what? And I remember him saying Big Pharma had written out a check, and our founders were so great. They didn't want the big check, that they put people before profits. And I still remember that to the day. So then when he came back at Christmas time, he had some samples for us to try. And that was exciting. With having about 18 people in the front room here, he was trying to share with a lot of people with that.
All right. Well, wonderful. So I'm going to bring on Thad. So Thad, let's bring you on. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Thad here. He is a father of three, an entrepreneur, a cattleman, wellness-minded individual dedicated to powering potential in people. Thad has a farming and ranching background, spending all of his life in agriculture at some level, growing up in Kansas and living in Tennessee for 30 years. Thad worked in a registered livestock business for 22 years, specializing in marketing, advertising, consulting, and photography throughout the eastern U.S. and eastern Canada. Then he spent 6 years as a co-owner of an innovative swimming pool construction company in Tennessee. So Thad, share with us how ASEA crossed your path. What piqued your interest about it?
Appreciate you letting me come on and share. I'll give you a little bit of background before we get to the ASEA. So yes, I grew up farming, ranching, played every sport that we had available at that time, which was not a lot. And lived pretty hard. I was probably a little wild, got bucked off of horses and drugged by show cattle, jump out of a hayloft. We were country boys, and we did lots of foolish things, face plant with riding a bicycle, but I never really broke anything. I had some, seasonal things that bothered my eyes and nose quite a bit, but I didn't really get sick. I wasn't I didn't have a childhood that was always going to the hospital and stuff like that. So at the age of 22, I went from fine to having a back fusion. And that was kind of the first wake up call. I had some farming incidents and other stuff prior to that, but that was the first big thing. The fusion worked pretty well for about 7 or 8 years, and then things started to deteriorate again. And I tried lots of stuff over an 18-year period of time, and some things helped a little, most things didn't help at all, but nothing, completely helped me. So when I was introduced to ASEA Redox, I had gotten to the point where I couldn't sleep more than about 4.5 or 5 hours per night, was completely exhausted and felt worse when I woke up usually than when I went to bed. So no energy, mental fog. I didn't know that it was mental fog. I found that out later. I just thought, hey, when you get older, everybody says your brain stops working and that's normal. Well, I came to find out that's not normal. It's just common. But my back, knees, and shoulders hurt all the time, varying degrees of challenge with that. And was probably not a very fun person to be around. So when Redox was introduced to me, my memory is a little different than Mom's. But when it was first introduced to me, I didn't think that it would work, but I knew that my friend had seen a life-changing response to it, and I trusted her. And I said, okay, I'll use it for a while, thinking that it's not going to work for me. We'll add it to the list of things that didn't work. So when Mom was talking about, I showed up at Christmas talking about this stuff, I really wasn't talking much about it. It was that my brother goes, is it doing anything for you? And it had been about 2 weeks at that time. And I go, well, honestly, I've got to think about it. Yeah, I actually slept till the alarm went off this morning, and I've not done that in a long time. So that was my first sign that I was sleeping better within 2 weeks. Progressing, I ended up noticing a difference in the energy. I could feel a difference in myself within about 2 months. Other people could see it before, but I was cynical and didn't believe them. About 2.5 months is when I could clearly say the mental fog was lifting. And about the 5 and the 5.5 month mark is when I noticed that my back, knees, and shoulders weren't hurting. So I don't know when they stopped. That's just when I noticed it. So that's kind of how I transitioned from a non-believer to knowing that it was working. I shared passively. Mom and my dad were some of the first ones that I did share with. And yeah, once I knew that it worked, I did share, but passively for about 3 years. And then, got a little bit more bold and show much more intentionally or share more intentionally now. So.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So I'm gonna ask this question to both of you, and whoever wants to go first can. Well, how much were you taking? What did you take in initial when you were taking the product?
Mom, you want to go first?
I believe I probably started out 2 ounces in the morning and 2 at night, as the directions said on the back of the bottle, but I definitely am not using that now. I am doing between 8 and 12 ounces now. I have a knee that's been talking to me, and the doctors said 2 years ago I needed to have surgery. I was bone on bone. But thank heavens for Radiance and the Redox. It has been helping my knee, and I don't have bone on bone pain. I feel like the Redox has been helping me, and I'm able to go.
Right. So you take the Radiance once a day is what you take. The Radiance, you take that once a day.
I take double Radiance every day.
Okay. Okay. And the Radiance is and
I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I'm a believer that if the Renew 28 was made for anti-aging and they found 50 other uses for it, I think we're going to find quite a few other uses for the Radiance.
Yes. Will you share with the people what Radiance was a purpose for?
It was for hair, skin, and nails. And my hair grows about 1 inch a month. My hairdresser knows. So I do believe maybe it might be helping our connective tissue, and have a lot of connective tissue in the knee and the hip areas. So really helping that way.
Yes, I've heard, that's wonderful. I've heard a lot of testimonies about that. All right. How about you, Thad? How much do you take per day, or what did you start out with?
I honestly don't know. I would estimate it was probably 4 ounces because that's what it did say on the bottle. I think that I was probably using the gel 1 twice a day, but like only using it once, because that was before we knew that if you did it multiple times in a row, it amplified and clarified much greater. So most likely I was probably using the gel once in the morning, once in the evening, and drinking 4, maybe 6 ounces a day. Over time, when we learned more about it and how people were getting better results when they doubled up, and then, a friend of mine always says, if you're not liking the results, rub more and drink more until you see the results you're after. So I look at it differently now. It's not so much a specific amount. It's about what your body needs. And when you're listening to your body, it will tell you when you've hit a spot that might be your sweet spot, and maybe you go up and down a little bit until you kind of zero in. And that's not permanent either. That can vary from day to day based on your lifestyle, your experiences, toxins, injuries, different things like that. So it's kind of a moving, hey, we're living a life. It changes every day, and you just got to listen to your body and give it what it needs.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's a good word. So you both are excited about this product, and you're now sharing it with others, both Merritta and you and Thad. So how are you working together to share this with others?
Well, I'm in Kansas and he's in Nashville. We work as a good team. He does have a Zoom every morning at 8:05. He has accountability call. He sends a lot of emails out to all of us. Some of us are a little bit older than he is, and he has to send things sometimes twice or 3 times to get them to us. But we've got team members in all over the place, Iowa, Kansas. He's got them all over the place. I have no idea where all of his are.
So are you doing individual workshops, Merritta, to share this with others?
We've been having Wednesday night workshops at my house starting at 6 o'clock. Wednesday worked out better for other people. Sometimes it doesn't always work for those that have church night, but for the majority of the people, it has worked out better on Wednesday night. We were doing every other Wednesday night, and then we decided that every week worked out better. And so I've had new people come, as well as associates and preferred customers. And so we always have training and learning.
All right. And what about you, Thad? How are you sharing this?
I use lots of different ways. We do some workshops in Tennessee. There was a period of time we were doing them weekly, but that sometimes varies depending on the location. I would say the majority of what I do is I reach out to people one-on-one, and a lot of my contacts are remote. As you mentioned before, I traveled 22 years across half of US and half of Canada. So I know people all over the place, and I don't really know too many in my own hometown because I traveled over 180 days a year. So part of the growth aspect for me personally is getting out in my community. And, I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We had a function today. So I do a lot of one-on-one meetings, in person, over the phone, on a Zoom. But yeah, I kind of use them all. There's not really a limitation. I'll even do some cold prospecting for people if I know that they're wellness minded.
Okay. So in a simple way, how would you just describe or explain what redox signaling molecules are?
Our body makes these molecules that help our body to function and the cells to work properly. And over time, we lose the ability to produce what we did when we were younger. And so the effects of aging show up more prevalent. And our product doesn't diagnose, treat, or cure anything. All it does is it helps the body to turn back on the inner doctor so the cells can function properly. If your cells are functioning properly, everything else downstream will improve with time. So all we're doing is giving the body the resource that it needs to do what the body knows how to do.
Yeah, I love that. I love how Dr. Marty Moron, we had him on a couple months ago, Cindy, and he said and you have it behind you. You can probably show it, Cindy, the bottle, but he calls that the cell tower. So you have your cell phone, and then you have the blue bottle is a cell tower that helps you to able to talk to on the phone. So how about Rita, you want to add anything to that on what redox signaling molecules are? How do you share this with, you're probably about the same age as I am. So how would you share this with people that are your age, our age?
It appears like in some of the meetings and social connections that I have, people are always talking about this or that creaking or cracking or falling apart, and turn around and say, well, if I'd have something that might help you with it, would you be interested? And they're saying, what? You're not a doctor. And I said, well, I've come across a new technology that is outstanding, and it's really, really helped me. Well, guess what? As I go to some of the school functions, some of the students and former students look at me and say, you don't look any different than when you did when you taught me. And I jokingly say, yes, they go. And they said, oh, no, no, no. And I said, come on. And they said, what are you doing? You still look so young after you put up with me and survived me in school. And I said, well, I have something really, really exciting. And so that was kind of a way to get in and share with them. And I do share one-on-one away from the larger groups.
All right. So now I'd like to talk about the culture. And both of you, I think, just recently went to Ascent. I think you were there. So tell us a little bit about the culture and what it means to you.
It's not very many companies that you can meet the founders, visit with them, and not just glance at them and say hi and bye, and they know your name. The gal, my guest that went with me to Puerto Rico, her last name was also Norton. And Tyler pulls up on his phone. He said, well, we might be related. And he does genealogy. And she said, oh my gosh, I know this. I know this. I mean, how many people would do that? She was so, so impressed. Wow. And then for him to come around, we had a team dinner. Cindy, you were with us at the team meal out there in Salt Lake City, to have corporate people come by and share with us and go around the table and share with each other. It's outstanding. The integrity, top-notch people. You can call them and they're down to earth. They're not up always talking about hype and the money they're making in the cars and this and that. And I had been in 3 or 4 other network marketing companies. This company is not like any of those. I appreciate it so much.
Yes. How about you, Thad?
I think the integrity that Mom said before is turning down generational wealth because they wanted to shut it down and cause the 120 or 135 people that were using the product to stop and never have access to it again, not ever talk about it. So when they care more about the people than they do anything else, and the mission statement is to better people's lives and be a force for good. And I'm a believer, and I believe we're all put on the earth for a reason, and that's to impact other people's lives. And that's part of the reason that I changed careers. Was what I did was provide a service, but I didn't really have the ability to empower someone to change their own life. Well, with this, I'm still not changing their life, and our products aren't changing their life. But when it impacts their body in a way that can impact their mindset and impact their vision, they can see a pathway forward where it might be a way that they choose to change their life. So that's, to me, the integrity starts with caring about the people, and those of us who are like-minded will engage in that process and find others around the world who also are like-minded. And I would venture to say that in the last 4 years, we've probably seen more people become aware of things that they didn't know, and their mindset is shifting or their paradigm is changing, and now they are taking personal responsibility. And I believe that we are personally responsible for our own health, and it's our responsibility to invest into it, and that our health is our greatest wealth. If you don't have your health, it doesn't matter how much time, money, toys, energy, whatever else you have, if you can't enjoy it or use it for good. So all that to circle back to your question of integrity is truly helping people, having the people's best interest in mind. If we help enough people get what they want, we're going to have all of what we need.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. All right, Miss Cindy, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you ask some questions here.
Okay. I want people to put some questions in the chat as well. I don't see any so far, I don't think. I just have a couple. Thad, you were talking about the people, you mentioned the 130 something that were on the test pilot part of the program. And as a hospice nurse, I think I heard there were some hospice patients on there possibly. Is that true, Thad? Do you know that?
I wasn't there, but I have heard that, yes.
And I think, yeah, I think they had great results from what I've heard, and that's awesome. So, and again, you were talking about we are responsible for our own health, and especially today and time with all the, just I feel like our healthcare system has kind of gone south, and we need to be our own advocate for our health for sure. So if we come across something like this technology and there's no side effects and no harm, and it's actually native to your body, I mean, that's something people really should look into. They don't have anything to lose. But what do you say when in it? Either one of you can answer this, Merritta or Thad, or both. What do you say to people when they say, my doctor says he doesn't know anything about it, or they say it's too expensive? What is your response to those questions?
I'll yield to Mom first.
I go ahead and say, well, this was made in a 3.5-day electrolysis process in our production plant. And yes, it's made from pristine water and salt, but guess what? It has less salt. And I think I heard it just the other day, less salt in a bottle of it than 2 baby carrots. And I said, most everything that you eat has a little bit of salt in it. So you need to take a look at it and go from there on it. And I said, do you ask your doctor about everything that you eat, all the seasonings that's on your food and so forth? Because many things in that are going to affect your body. So some people say, well, how did you become an expert overnight? And I said, I'm not. It's personal development and I'm learning. But boy, howdy, you want to look at things. Then I'll ask them, have you ever had or prescription drug and looked at all the many, many side effects? And they said, ugh.
Good comeback.
Right.
Thad?
I usually come alongside and agree with them immediately. So I used to argue with people, and I figured out that doesn't really accomplish much. So it doesn't. Any type of objection that a person has, I'll say that sounds really interesting. Tell me more, or explain that to me, because when I can partner with them from their vantage point and see things from their through the lens that they're looking through, it helps me better understand how to address their true concern. Because sometimes people will throw up an objection that's not really the true objection, but it's one that sounds good. And, if they say, it's too expensive, I'll say, yeah, I kind of thought that in the beginning too. But then when I got to looking at it, what else can empower your body to do what this does? And how do you put a value on that? A friend of mine, actually a downline associate, shared a technology with me today that I had never heard of, and I went and looked it up. And these units run from about $5,800 to about $250,000. And I mean, my entire years in investment in all of the products, and I take every single one of them every day, is less than that starting price. And like you said, there's no toxicity, there's no downside. It can only help the body. Well, which one am I going to invest in if this one can only benefit and no downside, and it's half the price of the starting price of this other technology? Is to me it's a no-brainer. But I think the main thing is we have to appreciate where the person is coming from and understand their position, why they're seeing things in a certain way, and why they have a potential objection. Because most people, if you can, and I guess a way that I have been able to overcome some of those is say, if that was not an issue today, would you want to move forward and use this product? If price was not an object of concern to you, would you? Well, yeah, I would go ahead and use it. Okay, well then let's remove that as a challenge. There are ways we can address that. Let's get you started on the product. So if they want, if they truly need to supplement their income in order to be able to afford it, we can help them do that. If it is, a specific amount of product, well, that's where we go back to that gel demonstration. If I show them that it works and they feel it and experience it in their own body immediately, they're not wondering if they're going to invest money and hope that it works. They felt it. And then it's more a decision of their conscience. Do I really want the benefit? And then most of the time people can justify the investment if they know there's benefit and value.
That's the key. I think putting the benefit and the value on that gets people's attention. And sometimes I will even say, when they say, oh, it's too expensive, I will say, well, what is your health worth? Or is what you're doing now working? And how much does that cost? So there are ways around it. There are ways, and like we've talked about, a cup of coffee a day could help get some of it going. Merritta, you mentioned the fact of the personal development, and I often describe this company as a research and development company disguised as a personal development company, because we not only are improving our health, we are growing as a person and in that personal development, like y'all have spoken about. And it's about that more than it is the profits. And we have so much more to gain than just profit from being part of this company, from being involved in it. Did y'all have anything else you want to add before? Is there any questions in there? Anything else y'all want to say?
I'll go ahead and elaborate.
I might add.
Go ahead. She's on a delay. She's got to crank the cycle, to get the signal up. So go ahead.
I might add that when we were down in Fort Worth, it would be a year ago, September in 2023, there were some uneven sidewalks down there. And at 11 o'clock at night, we were finished with our celebration and we were walking back to the car. Well, I was trying to lead the pack and oh my gosh, I face planted. Well, guess what? They used every imaginable tool that we had on me, and we had a long drive home the next day, but it was so wonderful. We were in an Airbnb, and let me tell you, they used the mask on me. That knee was so swollen up, my face, my eye, everything in the books. I didn't go to the doctor. Several people said, oh my God, they would put you in the hospital. No. So thank heavens for all the Redox products and our team members. Our team members are excellent. And Thad does such a good job. And I want to thank Thad for sharing with his mother. He thought his mother was a little bit stressed. He started a domino effect with others. And that's wonderful because I taught nutrition in school. And so it's just, continuing. And like you said, your health is so very, very important.
One thing I'll add, you'd ask about, if somebody wants to talk to their doctor, any type of objection that a person has or a question, I welcome them. And I absolutely jump on the opportunity. I say, hey, yeah, if you want to share it with your doctor, that is awesome. Let's educate your doctor what this is, because there's a 98% chance they've never heard of Redox. And I say, the information I will share with you is different than what we'll share with the medical professionals, because they're probably going to want to look more at the science and dive more into the weeds of that, and if they're open, that's the main thing. You have to ask the doctor if they've heard of this before. And if they have not, will they research it with the resources that you give them, and then ask them to come back with their professional opinion once they have investigated it. But to just look at it and go, yeah, I don't know what this is, you can't take that. That's not really. And if people want to do that, hey, that's their agency to choose. But without the knowledge, they can't make an educated decision. And if without an educated decision, they can't choose what is best for them. So I truly welcome it when people say that. But you made a good point earlier. They don't usually check, or if they're going to a fast food restaurant and they're putting things in their mouth, they're not worried about what's in there, which could be much more harmful potentially to them than other things. And we know that what we have can't harm them in any way. So yeah, I don't really run into obstacles anymore. It's just like, hey, whatever their question is, let's come alongside them and figure out what the solution is.
I love it. I like that. We do have a comment though. Dr. Side said, excellent presentation. She's so impressed. Does anyone else have questions they want to put in the chat? There's one from Suzanne as well. Excellent presentation. Well, we want to thank both of y'all for coming on tonight. This has been wonderful. And everyone, we will upload this to our YouTube channel. and it should be available later tonight or in the morning at the latest. Next week, Doria, you want to introduce our guest for next week?
Of course. So we have Gina Moran, and some of you that don't know her, I call it the Cinderella story, because she now is. She was in a bad way when Sia first came across her path. She was ready to foreclose her home, and now she's an international wellness business consultant and doing very well in the company. So she'll be great to have on. So any of you that are new on the call this evening, if this is the first time, please get back to the person that shared this with you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, and thank you both for being our
Thank you,
guests
ladies,
tonight.
for doing this every week. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for taking your time to be with us this evening, Thad and Merritta. We love you.
Y'all have a good night.
Love you too.
Good night.
See you on the Sia Highway.
Sounds good.
Good night.